Welcome back to Blitzkrieg battle number 4. We're here in the quarterfinals between Big Shot and Inept. I am Dust, and I'm not alone this time. I have brought on Aerox, who is gone but not forgotten after that loss to the Big Shots in the previous round. How's it going, bud?
Hey, man. Yeah, it's going pretty good. Not too happy about being knocked out, but it's Manor House, so what can you do?
That seems to be the sentiment from most players. Very few teams have embraced Manor House V2 with open arms, but there's been a couple who have liked it.
Yeah, I've heard a few people say they like it. I've stopped talking to them as a result of it, but yeah, I've heard it.
There you go. As it looks like Inept is shutting this round out pretty quickly. Unfortunately, kind of only caught the tail end of this round. We were still connecting as it started. Zeus is alone in a 1 versus 4 with the scope. I'm planning over here at A already. He's got the scope over towards spawn. And I'm not even sure if he's really truly going to go for this. I think he's more looking for exit kills, get some cards down. But there's no way he's retaking 1v4 with the scope.
Nah,
and he doesn't get anything.
I mean, it's not too bad losing cards in the first round. I didn't really see their weapon lineup first round, but it looked pretty standard with a sniper, a few MP44s. So I think, yeah, nothing lost really, but they have to really watch out now.
Yeah, Inept got a pretty early advantage on that round. Had a couple of attack nade kills early on. I think they got into like a 5v3 pretty quickly. And so it was always kind of Big Shots fighting from behind throughout the round. And eventually it just all collapsed. So first round does go to Inept here on the Allied side. We're on Coastal. This is probably my favorite map, to be honest.
I think out of all the maps, yeah, this is really a good one. This and the real I really like personally.
Yeah, I think I like this map a lot because it's just like, it's brighter, has like a different color scheme. It's not all like gray. Also, it's like really open, and I feel like it's just like is a dueler's dream. So there's so many different areas you can take fights at, and it's a little bit more open and like wide. I don't know. It just has a different feel to it than the other maps. As we do see Inept just storming through the front of the A bomb site, everything seemingly going their way. They've lost only 1 player here, and they're about to get the bomb down any moment now. Good response, though, from Madfield and Zeus, I believe, from Broken Wall, both those players. They get it back into a 2-on-2 in the blink of an eye, so that was pretty well done. Bomb is already in the site, but now it's a little bit more strained to actually get the plant down because these 2 kills have really put the pressure on, and now Speed with the shotgun does get into bottom A to try to assist, but a great shot from Madvillain.
Absolutely crucial kill. I mean, because otherwise they would have a shotgun bottom stairs. That's just pretty much the round.
Indeed. So now it's Sainum all on his lonesome. Or I think it's Matthias backwards. I feel like that's the more reason.
Yeah, it is Matthias.
Yeah, there you go. But Suit's going to take him out the STG, and so that was a 2 versus 4, and they make it work.
Yeah, really impressive. I was going to say that they seem to really forfeit A-bomb from the start. They don't really throw that early nade that you can throw towards the coastal area. They just sort of let it happen. But, like, yeah, really well played by Susan Madvillain.
Yeah, they did go for the set nade on coast the previous round, but it didn't hit. And so I think they were trying a different location that still didn't hit. And so, like you said, it did give Inept a little bit of free breathing room towards the A side. But like you said, really good retake, particularly just the way they played from Broken Wall with Madvillain and Zeus. And like Madvillain's been pretty insane. Like we've actually watched, all the games we've watched have involved Big Shots so far. And he's been consistently performing throughout all these games.
Yeah, that's not a surprise. I mean, he's a really solid Dutch player. He's been around COD 4. I don't know if he's played COD 2, but he played for some really good teams in COD 4, including the team that I played in. And yeah, he's just a really, really solid player.
Again, this game littered with Call of Duty veterans through and through on many of the top teams that make deep runs in these tournaments. So the most familiar names probably with like Albino Cats, Article 51, probably the names most people recognize, but there's some spread out as well, like on Penta with Replin, and definitely a lot of familiar faces in Battalion scene so far. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, this game, I mean, when it was announced, it was basically we're remaking COD 4, and we can't really say that. So, but that was the gist of it, right? We want COD 4 or COD 2 with a COD 4 feel to it.
Yeah, indeed. Kind of a perfect marriage, I guess, between the two. So we do see, and eventually making their way into A, but they've been whittled down a pretty big lot. And now Madvillain actually gets the advantage back for the Big Shots team. Matt is still inside the A site. Uberberg inside red right now, actually trying to come back around towards bottom with the tops and the catch the flank of Zeus. But he's been taking down the 30 HP, but he does get the kill on the Zeus nonetheless, and it gets it back into a 2-on-2. Matt is trying to go for the plant, but Madvillain jumping up the broken wall, tags him through, gets him down to 16 HP. He does complete the plant, though. We'll be able to reset the sterile with the shotgun, but Madvillain is hawking him down with the Luger. And we'll put him out of his misery, leaving just one ally left who's trying to fly through Coastal and try to have an impact, but he's cut down by the Kaz, and so Big Shots who take the lead.
I mean, that was a thrown round. I'm not gonna lie, that was a thrown round by Inept there. They like their A player, when he survived being shot by Mad Villain, I don't know how he could not have heard that he jumped up into the A building, but he had a shotgun. He should have won that round easily. I mean, yeah, that was pretty much a throw, I think.
Yeah, I mean, when he went in the stairwell with the shotgun, I mean, I know that he was trying to get away and get his HP back, the regen, but he just didn't really seem to, like, realize that the threat was imminent of Mad Villain jumping through Broken Wall. Like, he just was staring bottom A the whole time, and maybe he just got a bad communication or didn't hear him above. I'm not really sure.
I mean, his teammate was watching lower, so he probably should have called, like, yeah, I got you, but he was still watching lower stairs for some reason. I don't know. Just feels like the way around.
Can't really know what the comms were on the other side. As Inept trying to crack open B. Nice little jump across from Uberberg to get the kill on the Seuss, but the Kaz posted up at the car 98 does get the trade. And he spotted Alucard into yellow, so at least we'll be able to pass that information on. Vortex, though, with the scope, trying to get the Kaz, but just doesn't catch the timing as the Kaz jumps back through the window into Connector House, and now we'll just hold an angle on Broken Wall. No one over there, though. It's just Speed who's playing T-Con House. Vortex and Alucard are pretty well committed to yellow at this point. They are down a man in all of this, but they still have a lot of time to play around with. They're just trying to see if they can't find a pick, but BS is doing great just kind of playing passive angles. Like, Sulu's not giving them anything for free in the site. He's played back on stairs. Mad Villain will be rotating to join him soon. And the guys are just making sure that they can't split through Connector. Like, he's making sure it's all focused on lobby. He spotted one as well in Connector and does hit the shot on the Speed as he comes through the window. Also takes down Alucard on top of the sandbags. Really well done from the Kaz.
Vortex will not be happy with that, by the way. So he basically saw an arm sticking out of Sulu, trying to prime a nade, and the moment he stops watching, he runs out and just kills him. It's just unfortunate.
Yeah. Games like this do come down to milliseconds sometimes. It's just like all about timing. You might just get the wrong peak at the wrong time, and unfortunately it could lead to disaster.
I think the interesting part here is what Inept are going to do this round, because they've played A couple of times and they got really close, but they didn't manage to stick it. And like ever since the first round, they haven't managed to win a single round in it. And now their B push also failed, so it's kind of interesting to see what they're going to try now.
Ooh, Skill getting really aggressive on Coastal with the STG. You don't really see Axis wide swing out Coastal that often on Axis side, but Skill G's just knocking them down. He's gotten 3 kills. Vortex finally silences all the madness. Mathis joins in as well. Gets it back into striking distance, but the Axis side still do have the edge, and Sulu's flank through B on Spawn Street has been able to take out Mathis, so now it's all on Vortex, who's pushed up Coastal with the scope. Mad Villain will spot him from Broken Wall with the Car 98 and eventually finds his mark. And so now it is Big Shots up 4-1. The lead is beginning to build big time.
I think this is the part where Inept just is going to crumble, because it seems like they're running out of ideas, which is really strange because their A push works, well, except for that round, obviously. But like in general, their A push works, but then they throw it in the afterplan, right? If they manage to fix that, they'll be absolutely fine. They can string like, what, I think 3 or 4 rounds together before BS manages to figure out how it works, but I don't know.
Yeah, it seems like Big Shots are just really efficient in dueling and retake situations. Like they hit their shots. I mean, it really comes down to that sometimes. As Alucard does get a nice little set nade on the Seuss at Broken Wall. And that opens up mid a little bit for Inept, and Mathis will try to take that. He pushes into Statue, but does get caught off by Mad Villain in Connector, so he doesn't really gain much ground. Luckily, Vortex able to get the Kaz, and that does get it back into a 3-on-3, but they still haven't been able to really penetrate A except for Uberberg. It's all going to come down to him on this duel with Skill G. Meanwhile, Vortex does have that window position in red, which does give you a lot of vision on the map, depending on how you angle yourself, but it's also really tricky because you're basically just an easy target to spot. So it's a kind of a fine line you have to dance, I feel like, in this top red position.
I mean, top red is really useful if you manage to penetrate A with more than one player who is not on D. Sort of. Right? He can do a lot of damage in terms of the retake, and I think it's good that they figure it out. Like, they figured out, okay, our main problem is we're getting dominated from Broken Wall, but now they need to manage to find an anti-strat for it. And yeah,
I mean, they had a set nade kill on Broken Wall at the start of the round, so it felt like that counter was there, but then it's just like someone, I think it was Mad Villain, just kind of rotates to take up the slack and is able to catch the push on Statue and just shut down the mid portion of that attack big time from Inept. So it's like as soon as they find like a response, like, okay, great, like we've been able to find the opening, you know, the adjustment gets made by big shots to kind of pick up the gap. And now it's a little bit more spread out from Inept. They're sending 2 players towards B Street, but they're still leaving some players over here towards middle. They've been delayed a little bit, but they still do want it making the cross. And Vortex looking to peek with the scope, but Madvillain has a tricky angle with the Car 98 and headshots him. That's such a hard angle to deal with, I feel like, for allies.
Yeah, not only because he's pretty much covered by leaves everywhere.
Yep.
But to be fair, it is a really hard shot to hit as Axis as well. So kudos to him for actually hitting
especially
it.
With an unscoped car. Yeah. With the sniper, it makes a little bit more sense, but he hit it with just a straight-up iron sight, so that is definitely more difficult. Uberberg able to get some headway into B, though, and actually clears out the first player stairs, but Madvillain is still here with that Car 98, and he has been on fire throughout this whole tournament, really. But now he's having to work in a less of an advantageous point now. It's back to even. Zeus does have to flank through Spawn Street, but Alucard's caught Skill G rotating through Connector, and so now it's all on Madvillain and Zeus. Madvillain picks up an STG, able to take down Uberbert, gets it back even again. So Madvillain continues to go to work. Alucard has L House, 1 top yellow. Zeus rotating around with the scope from Garden. Mathis shifts back down the bottom yellow to try to help with the crossfire here on Madvillain, who is coming into the site. Zeus will be trying to catch this player in L House here. It's a lot of chaos, but Alucard gets the knife frag and eventually does find Madvillain as well. A bit of a crazy ordeal, but they do come out on top on Inept.
Yeah, I don't think Zeus is going to be very happy with his performance that round. He missed like 2 or 3 open kills, and that pretty much cost them the round. But again, like, well played by Inept. I mean, I think they figure out, like, okay, they don't really have a strong B defense. We can sort of abuse that, and that's what they're going to try and do now. I mean, if I were them, I would just call from here on out, okay, boys, the remaining, what is 8 rounds? Oh, no, wait, no, that's yes. The remaining, sorry, the remaining 5 rounds. We should just keep rushing B.
Ooh, Zeus, though, coming out aggressive on tank with the scope, catches Alucard crossing T-Con House. That's a big kill. Uberberg does try to work it back just a little bit, but they're still down a man. Uberberg trying to push into bottom A. Zeus is there with the scope, but up against a Thompson close range. Not the battle you want to be in. You miss your shot, it's pretty much a done deal. And now Uberberg picks up that scope, recycles it, and catches Zeus flank through B. And so Inept actually do grab the advantage back now. The Kaz, though, catches a well-timed peek from the A site and actually does catch a player coast. That was a tricky shot because he did take a lot of damage. He will regen, though, now. Gets back to full HP. Madvillain, though, goes back to work. Gets the advantage back for the Axis. So it's getting very scrappy out here in middle most rounds towards the mid-round. Uberberg now alone at coast with the scope. The spot Madvillain. Both missed their shots, though. They'll reset and try to find new angles. Madvillain just trying to stay alive and kill clock. I mean, the pressure's really on Uberberg. I mean, he's only got down 28 seconds. He's got bombs, sure, but the site he wants to go to already has a defender inside of it, so he's going to have to work fast. He does have the Thompson, though, and again, it is favored in these situations. Waits out the nade, well-timed. He may not... Will he check the stairwell? That's the problem. Yes, he does go for it. Doesn't get the kill, though. Well done by Decaz just to hold out.
Yeah, that was
around
really
here for the Axis.
I think what I find interesting about this map is that it promotes a lot of different playstyles. So, for example, like if you have players who are really good with your SMG and your shotgun, like A is a bomb site you want to go to. Like we've seen it like by players like Toksha from Asias. Like he's like one of those players who's just so good with that gun.
Yeah, Duffer's same.
Yeah,
same
exactly. Duffer, Toksha. They just run on the side and they just clear out 3 people or something. If you have that kind of skill, A is definitely the way to go. I think for Inept, with the way it's been going so far, B should be where they should focus their attention, really.
Yeah, the only thing that's really been stopping them is this Car 98 from Madvillain. This is a shot this time, though. This does give Inept a little bit more breathing room to start getting into the B-bomb site. And boy, are they making it in. But Sulu, he's pushed all the way through yellow. He could flank from behind, and he's already found one with the Gewere. He backs up. He's not allowing them for a trade. Just buying time. Everyone's already rotated from BS except for Zeus as well. And Zeus is actually playing top red, so we can actually still spot Connector. So this is going to get a little bit more difficult on the allies now, but they do have even numbers, and they do catch Decaz. It's a big kill from Vortex that allows them a little bit more breathing room. As I say that, though, the bomb gets taken down by the player in L House. Ally goes for a trade. He does get it. That's Uberberg. But it's just Madvillain. He's been quite the nuisance, but it's traded out again. So the Allies do maintain the man advantage, but Zeus with the shotgun, ever so dangerous, but Mathis with the pistol. And that was one of those rounds where it's just 1-for-1 trades all the way through, and it just so happens that the Allies come out on top.
Yeah, but I think that they're starting to realize, Inept's starting to realize that B is the way to go, because in terms of getting on the side, it's actually a lot easier than it looks, and retaking it, especially because Axis get boxed in really easily, it's nearly impossible.
Yeah, so a scrappy round, but Inept do come out on top. The B approach seems to work better, but it seems like they're shifting their focus towards middle a little bit now, as Alucard trying to get through T-Con House with speed and Vortex, all working to get towards Broken Wall, trying to deny some space to. Because I feel like we have seen Big Shots do this.
Look towards T House. This is the adaptation by Big Shots. Just push 2 people from B instantly and just destroy them in the back. It doesn't work out though, actually. Wow, that's interesting. Yeah,
Net really controlled T-Con House well, also controlled Broken Wall. I feel like that was like the adjustment Net were trying to make. Like they knew that Big Shots kept pushing Broken Wall or through Connector, and so they just said, screw it, we're going to detonate our way over there and be able to take control of that. I feel like if you're allies in this map, you can control Broken Wall. It just gives you so many options.
Yes.
To run Connector B and split that, or obviously another route into A area. So it's just like, I mean, mid control is just good to have in general for both teams on really any map. That's kind of a CS concept as well that a lot of people will be familiar with, like Mirage, for example, in the CSGO world. So yeah, really good by Inept.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, if they had run their normal A strat there, they would have been destroyed by that double push. That was, in theory, it was a really good idea. It's just that it didn't pan out because someone's holding the spawn. I mean, yeah, I thought it, like, it didn't work out, but I still think it's a really good adaptation by Big Shots.
Yeah, Sulu's been flanking through B a few times, but that time he was stopped in his tracks, basically. Though, as I say that, we do see the first kill go in the way of Big Shots this time. Uberberg quick to make the trade back. Zeus is stuck on tank, and Uberberg's looking for blood with that Thompson, finds it. There's another player, Jeep. He's not quick enough onto that one. And Sulu and Kaz really fight this one back. Holy crap, in the blink of an eye, they just go ahead and win it. Uberberg's trying to be that aggressive SMG to open things up for his team, but just not quite fast enough. And there is the old reliable thing I told you about.
Yes.
Unfortunately, it's going to happen every game, every map. It always happens around this round, too. It's always like around 9 or 10 that it happens, but it only happens once per map, usually. So we should be able to get right back in.
Sorry, I mean, I was like, interesting. Okay. Are you back in the game, or should I?
Go for it.
All right. I mean, so we're picking things up here with Inept. I mean, it seems like they've figured out B is the way we would go here, but get stopped in the tracks by Inept by Mad Villain. I think the main issue that they're facing right now is that they're not winning the individual battles. I think that's sort of where they're just, you know, not getting things done. Because in terms of their setup, like, they get stopped in their tracks because they're losing the individual battles. There's almost no refragging, which is, again, a very known CS concept. And, like, if we look at the B-bomb side now, I mean, it's pretty much impenetrable now with the position of Sulu. And they figured that out, so they're rotating. But then you got Zeus holding the back. I think this is a really, really good setup by Big Shots.
Ruben, you're on allies right now. If you're not aware, you need to join spec mode. You're dead specking allies right now. Just a heads up. You gotta choose team and go back to spec.
We good? Yeah.
Now you're good. All right. Sorry, folks.
I mean, yeah, I wouldn't be happy if I wasn't up there. I mean, big miss there. Well, it's not a miss. He tagged him a lot on B-bomb site. Sulu got tagged pretty much down to 0, but managed to survive, and that's probably going to be the round.
Seems that way, doesn't it? Madvillain trying to come in through street, but that's a good catch from Uberberg. Unfortunately, the Kaz has taken down Vortex, and now he's alone. The Uberberg, that is. We'll get the bomb plant, so that's good. With this scope at Connector. At least he's aware of it now. Zeus misses his first opportunity, but won't miss the second time of asking. And so Axis do take it. They'll make the first half go their way, 8-4. And I think you're right. I mean, it did really come down to this like good dueling. Like outside of Uberberg, like no one was really showing up consistently for the Inept side. When you look on the other side, man for man, BS were out fragging them across the board.
Yeah, and especially because so what Uberberg was doing, which is really good, is he managed to find the holes where he could push them. Like something like, I mean, we saw Duffer do it a lot, like where he just instinctively manages to find the holes to push people in the back. Uberberg was doing that really well, and it paid off. But I think 8-4 isn't a bad score. I mean, this is a pretty defense-sided map, so still very possible.
Aren't all maps kind of defense-sided right now, or would you say there's a map that's somewhat allied?
Well, I like in. Mostly,
because the rail seems super access-sided with those set names.
Yeah. Derailed, I would put Derailed at like a 10-2 defense.
Yeah.
But I think in terms of like allied focus, I would say Manor House probably. Although I'm of the opinion that Manor House is like the ultimate 50-50 map. It doesn't matter how good you are, doesn't matter how good your opponent is, it's a 50-50 map.
Okay. I think that's and then Liberation seems pretty access-sided as well.
Yeah, but probably
a little bit less because I feel like Allied has some good set nades for B that can kind of hold access off. So it seems a little bit more able to get headway. I don't know. I think people are still figuring out this game, right? It still really comes a lot to individual skill.
Interestingly enough, I think Liberation is probably fairly figured out right now. In terms of like how to play it. It offers quite, because of those aforementioned nades, it offers a lot of
I saw a new boost today, by the way, from Big Shots on Liberation. You should, if you get a chance, I don't know if you've seen it before, maybe check out the VOD from the first match of today, but they were boosting over, you know, top B windows?
Yeah.
They were boosting in the corner, like
a
two-player boost. It was pretty neat. It's like a nice little headshot angle.
Out of it. So I've seen that. I know that boost exists. I think the reason it doesn't get used very much is because I think it's part of that aim glitch where if you zoom in, like your aim just goes super wild. But if they made it work, more power to them. I mean, that'd be really interesting.
It's also easy information for allies attacking. Like if they see the boost, they know that's two there, and set nades are a real problem. So I don't know. It has its pros and cons.
But I think it could be really powerful because of the set nades that are already in existence. So like the top window smoke, like that, those arches are being smoked off fairly regularly, but like they never really smoke the left side. So if you boost over that, it's super powerful.
There you go. Let's get back on the Coastal now, though, as Big Shots are down 2 already in this round. They won the first round. They're still kind of loading into the map as that took place. And looks like Big Shots are getting whittled down pretty quickly here. They were trying to go for attack towards B, but some good scope work. And just overall good fragging here from the Inept side has really shut this attack down before it's even really gotten started. As Uberberg does spot another player jump to bottom yellow, so we'll be able to pass that information off. Skill, G is able to get 1 kill, but they're still down 2, so this is going to be very difficult to fight back in, especially with the Kaz catching a nade in his teeth. And yeah, that's cleaned up by Inept. They'll make it 5-9.
Yeah, and it's here you see the power of the early peak. So I can't remember who picked up the scope. I thought it was Alucard, or maybe it was Vortex actually, who rushed middle, got the early information, said, okay, I see at least 2 people B. Caused to rotate, and then it's pretty much good luck retaking that side. That's pretty much the power of the defense. The early information pretty much defines how the round's gonna go.
Yep. So we are gonna see BS shift the focus to pushing out Coastal. Some set nades from Alley, from Seuss. No one there to receive it though, as Inept is playing inside the site and towards Tank. But it does give BS a chance to walk up. And look at this, they're just pushing the SMG through Alley, but Speed has gotten there in time with the STG to catch him trying to push through back A. So it's a big catch to get. So it gets the access into a 5-on-3 pretty quickly. Alucard stepping in, and again, BS just seemed to be getting whittled down. It seemed like they were putting a lot of trust in that Alley push to work out, and once it didn't, they just kind of crumbled.
Yeah, I think the because I just spent the last I saw Madvidan running around middle for a good 10 seconds trying to dodge gunfire. I think the problem here was that they wanted to lay a smoke down and just pile into A bomb, but they got stopped pretty hard. And again, like this is just so typical of probably Battalion at this point, where the defense just puts the attack in the chokehold and just it's impossible to get out of it really.
Yeah, and they've been helped even more by the STG buff, I feel like with the one tap. But I say that the Kaz has gotten a couple of kills. He's made this round interesting with the Thompson. He's still in a 1v2. Still got to worry about Uberberg, who has that scope inside spawn, but he tags Uberberg and forces Uberberg to retreat and regen. This gives him a chance to kind of work his way around even more, but he's running out of time. He does have bomb, but he's got to get this kill. There's one player in the site, I think hiding on the third stairwell, and he needs to get this kill. Oh, just slides the angle in a little bit wrong. Was trying to look up, and the player's at the bottom, so a little bit unfortunate on how he angled himself, and so they still do want it winning the round on the Inept side, but he did make that fun to watch.
Yeah, very good. Very good watch. What I'm very interested here in this case is that the allies seem to have 4 Pathfinders, and they're just not using them. Why? Why are you not using them? They're the most broken gun in the game. Well, except for the shotgun, probably.
I don't like the shotgun at all. In fact, I was actually asking a couple of players this, some of the NA players like Lex and stuff that I talked to from the NA scene. Like, I just wish the shotgun class didn't exist at all in this game. And I know a lot of people will hate that because the shotgun was obviously a big part of other Call of Duty titles, but I just don't like it. I think the SMG should just be the close range option, a nerfed SMG at that.
I think the idea I'm getting from the European top scene so far is that the shotgun can be a good weapon, but because of the reload, like the recocking, I guess, chambering, I guess. Do you chamber a shotgun? Either way, so after you shoot, you sort of semi-reloaded or just cock another shell, and that speed is just too fast right now. It's absolutely broken. You're pretty much unstoppable. If you don't get flanked, you can solo hold the bottom stairs, the entire A building on coastal with a shotgun. It's too easy.
You can also be a D-bag and do that broken smoke on the stairwell twice.
Oh yeah.
Lock out the A site. I'm looking at you, Saint Six. Sam from ATG.
Yeah,
to be fair, everyone does it.
They figured out that it's so broken, which is surprising to me because, well, it's not so surprising to me. It's surprising me that Inept's not actually abusing it, right? They could literally just say,
hopefully it's like a gentleman's agreement not to use it. That smoke is needs.
I mean, it's, well, not so much the smoke, but just putting a shotgun on those stairs is just, you've locked A down. You can basically just say, okay, just play 2 mid, play 2 B, because I'll just solo all day. It's no problem. It's that strong. So, yeah.
BS are trying to go for B again. It worked last round. This round they've been caught by a couple players. We see Speed already flanking through Coastal to perhaps get the flank in spawn and catch these guys on B Street. Zeus is trying to look out for something here with the bar and T-Con house, but again, I feel like Speed can just hold this angle, get all the information in the world, know that they're not falling back A, and let the rest of the team just focus on chipping away at BS over here on the B side of the map, which they've done very successfully. It's only Zeus now in a 1v5 with the bar, and he's been caught by Speed, who was on that flank we were discussing. That makes it now a 7-10 score, so the gap between these two teams is quickly closing.
Yeah, there's a massive drain right now on Big Shot's cards. They're almost out of snipers. They still have their Pathfinders, but I don't know, they don't really seem to favor Pathfinders, which is really strange to me. I don't know. So they've opted for a shotgun this round on Sulu rather than an SMG. I don't understand why. I don't understand what the point of that is, because they're probably gonna put him lower red. But I don't know. It just feels really ineffective on attack.
Hello?
Hello? Are you good?
Oh, sorry, I was there for a second. I made that, you know, the old USB connect-disconnect noise.
Oh, alright.
So I had to rejoin Discord, but now we're good. Into a 4-on-4 here. Sue's trying to get the scope down inside A of Vortex with an M1 Grand, but he's not able to connect the bullets, and then Vortex lands the shot instead. So Inept, again, getting a quite big early advantage in all of this. It's left Sulu alone, actually. And yeah, Inept are starting to get really good at pushing out Coastal and Red House and like just denying BS a lot of space, it feels like.
Yeah, I think the main issue for Big Shots right now is they're sort of stuck in their ways. If that makes sense, they sort of it seems like they're running out of ideas in terms of like, oh, our one strat that we use isn't working. Let's keep trying it or something like that. And I think their lack of picking. Oh, and they had a crash as well. That's unfortunate. But yeah, their lack of picking up the SMG, I think, is really hurting now at the moment.
Yeah, apparently we're gonna pause next round, but unfortunately he crashed as this round started already, so they will have to play 4-on-5 on this particular round. So you see Seuss trying to go to work with this M1 Grand from Garden. Here's his player towards connector, trying to spam the smoke, but actually doesn't realize the player actually has pushed past that smoke, and so this could be a problem. He's trying to run through. He does pick up on it, though, and does get the kill on the Uberberg. Spots a player inside the site as well, but is caught reloading. So now a 4-on-3 still in favor of Inept. Everyone from Inept's already rotated as well over here towards the B side. Speed is kind of watching their flank through connector, but they have everyone here ready to defend, ready to retake. Mad Villain, though, doesn't care. He's going in with that M1 Carbine. Good for 1 kill, but now Vortex tees off with the scope from stairs for 2 already. Math is still inside the site this whole time as well. We'll just go ahead and finish off the job. So it is now 10-9. It's about to be a tie game here.
Yeah, and I'm really actually. So I wonder if Big Shots have figured it out that Inept is a team that really over rotates. If they figure it out, they'll be able to use it to their advantage. I think. Because so the over rotation, I've seen it a lot actually, especially in a game as new as this, where teams aren't very sure yet about like how to rotate or how many people to rotate, etc. So what they'll do is they will just throw bodies at what they think is going to be the correct side. Especially in a game like this, as new as this, I think you can abuse that quite easily. But you just need to spot it. You need to spot that trend.
Yeah, I feel like what I've been seeing a lot of Axis teams do on this map to be successful in like managing rotations is typically like one player anchoring B, and then the other B player is usually just playing in connector as like a quick rotator.
Yeah.
And then like you might even have like a second guy playing broken wall as well, and then like 2 towards A. So like 2 broken wall, 2A, 1B has been like a setup I've seen a lot that gives you like a lot of early intel. Also, if they don't smoke mid arch to cross B, or like even just give the illusion they might be going B, if you have like a scope like jump spotting sandbags or tank or something, like you can pretty much tell how many are crossing B side.
Yeah.
And if you don't see anything, you know they're attacking red and coast. So I think there's a lot of ways for Axis to get information early on where allies are going on this map, to where rotating shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, exactly. I think the biggest issue is that, especially and I need to use this term very carefully, the lower skill teams, they don't seem to really value or understand the power of the default class, especially on allies. So on Axis, they understand like, okay, yeah, default is really good for stop nades, etc., etc. But on attack, the nades are actually, and the smokes are so much more important than people give them credit for, because especially like on a map like this, where you would just, so if I were to play this map, what I would do every round is just, I would chuck a smoke into the mid arch, just so they don't know instantly where we're going, and that just gives you so much more wiggle room.
Yeah, I agree. I think also like there's some smoke execution you can do on B bomb side on this map where default class would be useful to you. Like having those extra smokes to smoke your way, like in like B Street. That way, connector player can't see you crossing the site. Like, there's definitely good utility for smokes on this map.
Yeah.
A is a little bit different. Yeah, you can obviously like smoke wall tank to get you back alley, but you can't like actually really smoke the site like you can on B. But there's still definitely a lot of use for utility on this map. And also, like, to go to your point about like how default class can be powerful. Another thing I've seen people do with it is I've seen like teams like run really heavy default class the first couple of rounds. And if you're going up against a team that's using cards and you're not, and you win those fights, you give them no cards and you steal theirs. And if you die, they don't get to pick up anything. So I've seen that kind of used to mess with opponents' economy a lot.
Yeah, it's I've actually, surprisingly, like today was the first time that I ran such a strat with the guys I play with. It can definitely be powerful, and in terms of theory crafting, it's really good. But I haven't really seen it work out that much yet, actually. So maybe I just haven't watched enough time.
Yeah, apparently this is a dead round. I'm not sure. Apparently we're going to try to restart the server and just start from 9-10. One of the players didn't spawn in, so we're just going to restart the server. The score will be 9-10, but it'll say 0-0 when we come back, and we'll have to do manual math. It was always fun to make a caster do math on the fly. Really good times for everyone. Never goes wrong. Obviously, cards won't reset. Our cards will reset, so unfortunately, like, you lose that aspect of the game, the economic aspect. There's nothing to do about it. Obviously, it's unfair, like, in that degree, but there's just no fix. There's no, like, match medic right now for Battalion, so you can't mess with cards or anything like that yet, but it'll come in the future. Again, I think people don't realize that this is 2 weeks into early access, which is early access is essentially a glorified beta. That's what it's meant to be.
I think so that's one of the interesting aspects, I think, of this game so far. I think what the rumblings around the community I've heard is that they're very discontent with this actually being called an early access. Like, rather it should have been just called either a prolonged open beta or maybe just keeping it closed beta for a bit longer. I mean, like, we all understand why it was released, but I mean, because if you think about it, like, just for a second, it becomes quite apparent why they would have to release it now. But I don't know, it's a shame. I mean, the game has so much potential, but at the same time, the impressions that people are getting now are just so negative that I'm not sure if the game will rebound from that, you know?
Yeah, I don't know if it's like a semantics thing where people hear the word early access and that just makes them assume that, oh, this game must be really far along already if it's an early access. Whereas to me, I've always treated early access as this is just a second version of open beta. And I feel like that's how it should be interpreted. It's early access. You're getting early access to a game. It's obviously not fully released, so it's obviously still in a somewhat beta phase. But because people still use the words alpha and beta, it's like beta and early access almost can be used like interchangeably.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, early access adds this extra weight to the concept of a beta, where like more is expected than what a beta would be expected.
I mean, because it doesn't help where, like, there have been a few early access games which, when they released as quote-unquote early access, they were pretty much done. Like, the games were pretty much finished. Yeah. So it doesn't help in that aspect. I think the biggest issue is that for people is that when they hear the words beta, in their mind they go, okay, so this is going to be a free product which I can test, sort of like a glorified demo. And when they have to buy into early access, they expect
a more finished game.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. So it's definitely like an issue of semantics and like how you define what a early access should be and how similar to beta it should be. I definitely wish beta would have been a little bit longer because alpha obviously lasted for weeks and weeks and weeks, and then beta was 4 days.
Yes.
So there was a huge kind of leap that took place there. But at the same time, I think that the core of this game is quite good already. Obviously, there's things like weapon balancing that need to be addressed, but that's easy enough. You're just changing values and testing new values. I think the biggest thing is just the matchmaking infrastructure. Like, if that can get built up to where it needs to be, then I think that this game will be a lot more smooth sailing than it's been. But again, the core game is definitely a hell of a lot of fun. I think I think like you, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel for this game if it just needs to get there. But certainly the light is there. Like, this game does have that potential, as you noted.
For sure.
And it's fun. It's also fun that we're getting to see competition already in this game and already get kind of a feel. Like, for me, it's helped me learn how to commentate this game. It's also helping us learn how to, like, what we want in spec mode and how to make spec mode better for the future. So it's definitely served its purpose doing these early tournaments.
Yeah, indeed. I think although, like, having mentioned that, I've been very critical of the recently announced LAN, actually. I don't think this is the right time to host a LAN. And especially not a BYOC LAN. But, I mean, I don't know if it's been well documented, but there's been a large outcry, in especially European players, in regards to not so much the LAN itself, but the way it was announced and the fact that it's BYOC and the fact that it's in like 30 days. Those are really painful.
I feel like the community and like the teams that you play for and other like that we're watching compete, we're hoping for like a big LAN that they could all go play in, like all these European teams. But in reality, the event's meant to just be like a local thing. Yeah, and
which would be fine. I mean, like if they'd announced this, like, look at this initiative that's being hosted by Blitzkrieg Battles. They're gonna be running a LAN at I-62, and we'll be glad to support them. That would have been great. But it was sort of maybe we were reading too much into it, but the way like the top community heard it was sort of like, this is going to be the first major LAN, especially because Bram said in an interview with you actually that the skins would just be for majors, etc. And now they announced a LAN, which is BYOC, which is for the UK community, and it's going to have those skins. I mean,
I think it's more of a special case where they're doing skins because it's the first LAN, but in the future, I think skins will be reserved for majors, if I had to guess. So, I don't know. I think it still could be a fun local thing, but I think the bigger LANs will come later this year, which will be, that's the big LANs that all the top European teams will want to go to. So we're going to get there. But I'm not so, I think I'm fine with like just a local, like kind of fun LAN. I think it also lets you test out this game on LAN and get the kinks out before you start getting those bigger European tournaments later this year. It's like another way to look at it, like a test run. Also, I know for a fact that some of the devs are trying to work with people to get PCs available for teams traveling in. So be on the lookout for that information in the future. I think they're working on some things to try to make it a little bit better for some teams trying to travel from out of the country. But anyway, we're back live into this game, and I think it was, what, 10-9 in favor of BS?
Yes, so it should be.
And now it's 11-9. Yeah, okay. Glad we were able to figure out that math. First try. First try.
Look,
unless we're both wrong.
I failed math in high school, okay? Don't expect much from me.
As I think Ruben was having to redo his game, so I'm not sure if he got back in yet, so it might be Radiocast for a second. Or he may have gotten back in already. I'm not really sure.
Like, I'm not sure, but we'll see.
Yeah. Okay, Ruben's on the server, so no Radiocast. You get to see everything. It's great and beautiful.
I think, yeah, Big Shots is definitely favoring the Bebop side, which, yeah, B is the way to go. To everyone who's trying to figure out Coastal, just go B12 rounds. Do yourself a favor.
Well, unfortunately for them, a native from Uberberg has stopped them in their tracks, but they still do get access to Garden with 3 players. But meanwhile, Alucard's just going ham in middle, but oh, they've been caught now. Mad Villain and Skilled G able to collapse onto T-Con House and catch players out in the open. It gets it back into an even 3 versus 3, and now things get a little bit more tricky because the net are a little bit spread thin, but Alucard does get the shot out on middle. Speed has been detected, though, and Seuss is flanked all the way through and catches Alucard in the side, and he knows there's a player in red. Oh, Speed, does he make the noise jumping out the window? Yes, he does, and Seuss spots him, so all the information is there for the taking for BS. 2v2, still a lot of time on the clock. They could even bring this back over to B if they want to. Vortex could get caught. He's in connector right now. Seuss is actually flanking him while Mad Villain is coming through T-Con House, so Vortex could get pinched. And there it is. Seuss catches him with the Thompson. B's now wide open for the taking. The bomb will get planted, and 12-9 could be right around the corner, unless Speed, who has now picked up the Kar98 on top of his shotgun, can pull off the 1v2 clutch. He's also picked up a scope card, so that'll at least keep his team around. Swaps for an MP40. He's got time.
And a smoke.
Indeed, he could smoke the bomb, and that could make things tricky. Just checking all of his corners. There's a lot to clear, though. He's trying to be careful. He taps the bomb. He's holding angle right now. Ooh, here's that shot from window. So he's got one down. Taps the bomb again. Mad Villain peeking out. Seuss, oh, he's just not going to have the time now, is he? They've done really well just to kill clock. Smart play from BS. Very disciplined.
I don't think he realized he had a smoke because even without knowing where people are, he could have played that much better. So, I mean, because in terms of, like, in situations like that, what I think the best course of action would be is to either just straight up, don't throw anything, just defuse it inside and pray for the best. Because if you have 0 information, or just smoke off a choke point and fake it. That's, like, the 2 best ways I feel to play that round. And he didn't do either of them, so I know. I feel like that was a misplay, but maybe I'm being overly critical.
It's fine. I think you have that freedom to express yourself.
But I mean, if you notice, like Big Shots have figured out, it's just storm B, and you will win the round.
It's also that smoke is helping them out a lot to get them in. Just really isolating players, trying to rotate through spawner, through connector to get vision onto the B cross. They're already in the site by the time that you get there. And oh, that's a big catch from Goose onto Uberberg, who was trying to peek around that scope. And Sulu, with the scope of his own inside the site, jump peeks the stairs, gets a kill. Skill G catches speeds rotate. And Inept are slowly but surely falling out of grace. And there you have it. 3 rounds in a row here after the server reset for Big Shots, who will now move on to the semifinals. So we're just one best of one away from the finale, the grand final best of three.
Yeah, I think